Hello and welcome to free Excel tutorial videos. For today's lesson, I want to show you how you can use the SUMIF function and also the SUMIFS function. Okay, so what we are going to do is to use these functions to calculate an accounts receivable to find out what is the amount that is past due and the amount that will be due in the future. Okay, for example, next month, next 2 months, in the next 30 days, and so on. Okay, so here I have a workbook, a simple account receivable worksheet. In this cell over here, I have the today's function, and which will give me the current date when I open this workbook. And here I have a field called status. All right, and this status will tell me which invoice are past due and which are payable in the coming future. So the formula I'm using for this status over here is subtracting the due date from today's date. Okay, so I'm using the normal function to minus the days in between the due date and the today's date. So as you can see here, today is the 13th of July and this due date is 15th of July. So the difference is 2 dates. So if the number is negative, this means that the date has already passed. So what we want to achieve is to be able to give the amount of days that is past due and then give me the amount. Okay. So to do this over here, we have to use the SUMIF function. Okay, so the SUMIF function has two arguments. Okay, let me open this up and let me open the dialog box. Okay, so first argument is we will look in the status. Okay, I've created a name range here, status, the due date, the division, and also the amount. I have the name ranges for all of this. It's going to be important so that it's easy for us to use it in the formula. So the first range is we're going to look into name range status. And inside this name range, we want to look for the cells that match this criteria, which is less than 0, which means it's past due date. Okay, it's a negative. It means it is earlier than today's date, and and it's included in the double quotation marks. And for the amount and for the sum range, we will use the name range amount. Okay, and this will let us know how much the amount is past due. Okay, so let's click OK. So here we have it. Okay, and here beside here I have the invoice due after 1st November. Okay, after this date. Okay, so in this case we will use the SUMIF function to look into the due date label name range. Okay, the criteria that we want to match will be the data above, which is the 1st of November. Okay, so let me open up the function. So we are using the SUMIF function. Okay, and we are going to look for the name, the range. Let's open the, okay, this one so you can see properly. So we're using the SUMIF function and we're going to look in the range for the due date. And the criteria, what we want the criteria is to be later or equals to the 1st of November. Okay, and when we have that criteria, we want to sum the range inside the amount name range. Okay, notice that there is this n% here. Okay, this is for us to connect the operator and the date function. So in the date function, we enter the date which we want. Okay, so once we find this criteria, we will be able to sum up the amount which is in which matches this criteria. Okay, so uh, there we go. Okay, I can change And the formula here, say if I want to know the invoice that is due after 1st of October. So I just change this to October and click OK, and I will have the invoice that is before October. Okay. Now, what if we want to know the amount for the invoices that are not yet due? Okay, in which the status is the positive number. Okay, and we want to know how much uh, is that for 1st of November, or which is this, I already done this. Okay, this is this one. Okay, so we have that result already. Um, okay, what if we want to look at past due payments? Okay, according to specific division or branch you want to call it, we want to come, or let's come over here. We want to look at the past payment. Okay, the payment that we already made to the branches. So and we want to look at the amount for different divisions. Okay, and for this we will use the SUMIFS function because it requires another what called criteria or range. Okay, so here I have the SUMIF function, uh, and what I want here is to get the number of days that is past due, are past due by branch or division. So you can see that the SUMIF function is plural. And let's open up the function argument box, and you can see that we have more arguments over here. So what the SUMIF function do is it will get the number of days that is past due and according to the division. So um, for the sum range, we will look into the status name range, okay, to find out which are the past due status. And for the criteria name range one, we will look for, of course, the status. And the criteria to match that criteria range, we want to look for those that have passed. So it's a negative number. So we are going to put less than 0. And for the second pair of criteria range, what we want to look for is the division. Okay, which division uh, we want to look for, and which division has how much amount of past due days. So, and the criteria two is the name of the division, okay, which I click on this cell. Okay, so the result that I have here for ABC computers, there is 111 days for the status. Okay, and for the amount, we will do the same thing. We will use the SUMIFS function, but over here now we will look at the amount. Okay, instead of looking for the status, we will look at the amount. Okay, and the amount will give, there will be the sum range that we will be looking for, what we want to sum, which is the amount. The first criteria and criteria pair is we want to look for the amount for this, the um, that is in a negative, uh, which is past due, okay, which is in a negative value in the status name range. Okay, and the second criteria range pair is we want to look for the amount for the specific division, which is the ABC computer, in the division name range. Okay, okay, you can see the specific division or branch that we want to look, and the division will be the name range that we look into, and we want to match that criteria with this criteria. We want to have in the status name range less than 0. Okay, this is all the things. So the amount that we get is $13,028. So of all the invoices that has been paid prior to today's date, we have already paid $13,028. So let's see if I can copy this down. Yes, so for the best appliances, our past due by branch, for this branch we have a past due of 3 days, and computer mall we have 193, And if I copy this, we will have this amount that already has been paid throughout all the past due date payments for this particular branch, and this is for this particular branch. Okay, so this is the difference between the sum ifs function and the sumif function. Okay, so I hope you can utilize these two functions in your Excel. And that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video.